Have you ever looked at one of the works of Shakespeare and thought, wow, this would make a great comic book? Yeah, neither have I. But apparently the writers and artists behind Kill Shakespeare did, and what we got was a fantastic little book. That would be Sea of Troubles, the first and currently only book in the Kill Shakespeare series. For those of you who haven't heard of it, the book operates on the same principles as Super Smash Bros., Fables, and Into the Woods. It takes several characters from completely different stories by the same author or group and puts them together in one setting. This time, though, instead of Nintendo characters or fairy tale creatures, we have a crossover between the characters of the Eternal Bard. As the book opens, we see Hamlet as he is being banished from Denmark for the murder of Polonius. He is sent away on a ship to England with Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, but they are attacked by pirates and Hamlet is lost at sea. Hamlet later wakes up in the care of Richard III, who tells him that, according to a prophecy, he is the only one who can kill a mysterious wizard named Shakespeare, who is in possession of a powerful magic quill pen. That if Hamlet kills Shakespeare, then Richard claims he will resurrect Hamlet's dead father. That's the setup for the first book, which contains not only Richard and Hamlet, but also Macbeth, Juliet, Falstaff, Othello, Iago, and many more Shakespeare characters, all together in one incredibly inventive story. First off, unless you've read some Shakespeare, you're probably unfamiliar with some of the characters I just listed. Don't worry about that. Little to no knowledge of his plays is required to understand and enjoy these books. That said, if you have read his works, there are plenty of little tributes to the bard and his readers. The book is full of taverns with names like A Midsummer Night's Dram, and many lesser Shakespeare characters also make cameos. The book focuses mainly on Hamlet, and his character is very well developed, although that probably comes from him being a Shakespeare creation. All the other heroes, and even some of the villains, were also well developed, many of them even gaining character traits that weren't seen in their original plays. The artwork in the book is fantastic. Everything is well drawn in the book's unique visual style, and the colors are also well done, creating scenes that range from bright and colorful to dark and brooding. The action scenes are also outstanding. They manage to be quick-paced and exciting while still giving you a good idea of what's going on. The fight scenes are by far the best. When someone gets punched, you feel it. When someone's nose breaks, you can almost hear it crack. And speaking of fight scenes, there is a lot of violence in this book. There's blood everywhere, as well as some other content that may be inappropriate for younger readers. This book was definitely not written for kids, so keep them away from it. If I had to pick one thing wrong with the books, I'd probably say it was the dialogue. All the characters speak in a language similar to Shakespearean English. It's not as complex as Shakespeare's actual work, but it can still be confusing at times. I personally had no problems reading the language, but I can understand how someone else might struggle with it. If you're a fan of comics, Shakespeare, or just good stories in general, and you aren't afraid of a few big words, go get this book. It's a memorable story so good, it would make Shakespeare himself proud.